Mr. Hisham, and I had a tech who went in to install the ATM. But the store that Mr. Hisham had never got it up and running. We talked to him a couple of times, and he said that he couldn't get his permits in order to open the store. And he was still trying that, and that was after we had already installed the ATM. Prior to us installing the ATM, we were informed that the store was already up and running. He needed the ATM ASAP. So as time went by, we kept reaching out to him, and he just kept saying that the store would be open, it would be open, it would be open. Finally, after about 30 days, we informed him that we needed to pull the because the store was not open and that we were losing business. After that, he stopped responding to all text messages and to all phone calls. We ended up calling him from several different numbers. Finally answered from a number, and my tech spoke with him, said that he wanted to come get the machine, and Hisham said, no, you're not going to be able to do that. He was like, well, we let him know that's our property, we have to get it. And he says to us, he laughed on the phone and said, what are you going to do, break into my place? And we said, no, we don't, there's no need to break into the place because we haven't, it's an actual contract. It's business. We just want to come get the machine. So he said the police are not going to be able to do anything for you. And that was pretty much the last time we spoke to him. And we actually did the police department a couple of times. And that's exactly what they said, that they couldn't do anything, and we needed to go to court and file something in order to get our property back.
Okay, very good. And then how much are you pleading for today?
$10,000, and that's for the cost of the machine, the cost of the installment, and the money that we have lost for the machine not being in use.
Okay.
And the cost to file the case.
Sure. All right. All right. Let me get a response here from the defendant, then I've got some questions for the both of you. Mr. Defendant, you may begin when you're ready.
I'm ready. First, I'd like from the court to dismiss this case because this lady says she has a contract with me. She says that she has installed the machine in my store. There is no contract. She didn't submit any document to show that she has a contract with me. She didn't submit any document that she owns an ATM. She brought it to my store. I have never seen her before, never heard of her name before. The only contract I have, I emailed to the court. It's a contract with a company named, I can't read the name. It's in Preston Road in Dallas, Texas. That contract I signed back in June of 2019. I don't have Al's store. I do financing. I financed somebody by the name of Taha Rasul, who wanted to open Al's store. I had an agreement with him. I financed him, bought the machines for him, bought him the fixtures and everything. And after I finished everything, got him the licenses. Mr. Taha Rasul, the owner of Al's store, changed his mind about our agreement and said he wanted more money. We ended up in a dispute. He left the store. I had to go there. I went there when they installed the ATM machine. Mr. Taha Rasul never came back. I don't live in Fort Worth. I don't live near Fort Worth. I live in Murphy, Texas, which is about to the store 1 hour driving with no traffic. With traffic, it's 1.5 hours, 2 hours driving. So I never run a store before. I didn't have an intention to run a store. I lost about half of my retirement on that store. This lady, I don't know her. She hasn't proved anything. She hasn't produced any document. The document I have was not the same. I called the company that supplied the ATM. I told them that the whole project collapsed. We had the licenses. We had the tobacco license. We had the sales tax license for that store under the name of Mr. Rasul. When the deal collapsed and he left, I called the ATM company several times to come and collect their machine. They never came. I cannot go. They came one time. They said they're coming. I went there. I waited for them. They never showed up. I left the keys with the grocery store owner next to the tobacco shop, and I asked him that to call those numbers, have an appointment with those people to remove their ATM machine. They never showed up. If this lady can prove that that ATM machine is hers, I would have filed a counterclaim or filed a claim in a county court, because I have been paying for that store since from August of 2019 till February of 2020. It's $2,500 a month just for that machine to be removed. Nobody came to remove the machine. I don't know what happened after that to the store. After the 6 months, I stopped the payment, the rent payment. I don't know what happened with that machine. I don't know what happened with that store. I never saw this lady. I have never signed a contract with her. She is claiming that she has a contract. She had all the time to file the contract with the court, so I can see what's in that contract. She never did that. The only contract I already emailed to the court. That was with the company that's there. And this is a baseless claim. She doesn't own an ATM machine. I don't know her. She might own an ATM machine. She never proved anything. She never proved that she had a contract. She never proved that she owns an ATM machine. She's just filing a lawsuit on the basis that I might not be able to come there or whatever it is. But I want the court to dismiss this case. I cannot just be sued for nothing. Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, sir. Okay. Now there have been documents that have been filed with the court. Now, granted, in any other proceedings, documents would have to be shared with both sides. But in this pandemic world, obviously, that's not the case. I can't show you what she's been submitted here to the court. So I'm inclined to reset this once we return to in-person proceedings, and that way documents can be shared. Both of you are not attorneys, and obviously the rules of civil procedure, documents need to be shared at least during discovery. Now, but I do want to ask a couple of questions first. One, where is the machine at now?
Is this question for me?
I mean, anybody. Where is the machine?
My tech installed it at that location at our store, and that's off of.
So it's still there.
Brentwood. That's the last place I saw it.
Okay, so the last place that you saw it, and that was when?
That was probably September of 2019.
September.
I think we would periodically just go by the store and peek through the window to see if the machine was there, and it was. During this last year, we did not go by, but actually we went by yesterday, and the building is blacked out. You can't even look in, so I don't know if the machine is there or not.
Okay, very good. And Mr. Hisham, where do you think this machine is at? Is it still at that property?
I don't know anything about what happened after the last payment I paid for my rent on that property was in February 2020. I left the keys for the store with the grocery store owner next to the store, but I have not paid since then. I don't know what the landlord did with the machine. I understand that the grocery store owner has sold the grocery store and has left the state. But
Okay.
I called him and he said he doesn't know what happened.
I see.
Can I say something, sir?
No, let me ask a couple more questions here. Now, Mr. Hisham has, I think, raised a very legitimate question here, and I believe it relates to your standing, Mrs. Clark. When you say we installed the machine, is this Bridget Clark's company that's actually installing these machines, or are you working on behalf of somebody else installing these machines?
No, I have my own company, and I have a tech guy who installs my machines.
Okay, so you're saying that this is your company, you are independent contractor, you're the one that has this owner operator of these machines that installs, it's not anybody else.
Correct. And I get my contracts from a locator. And that may be what he's talking about, that he got the contract from someone, and he signed the contract, and then I signed the contract.
Okay, well, I'm glad you brought that up, because when I went through the documents that were submitted, I found two contracts, and I don't know which one is which. I have one here that's by Al Bush. Who is Al Bush?
Al Bush is the locator. He is a locator who locates locations with his company, PBS ATM, and he sells contracts to independent contractors.
Okay, well, there's one dated here between Al Bush and the respondent here at Al's store. Now, it looks like I don't know if he signed this, Mr. Defendant, respondent, did you sign this one, or was this an electronic signature?
That's an electronic signature, sir.
Okay, then I have one that's by Bridget Clark, A and B ATMs, which is not signed by you, but signed electronically by Mr. Hisham. And so my question is, which one is in force? Both have been dated the same times. And do you in fact have standing for this?
That question's for me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, the first contract with Al, that is the contract that that Al signed. That contract is then transferred over to me. And the second one that you see, that is just that's for my reference that I keep in my file. Mr. Hisham, that's not a contract between me and him. I have the contract through Al Bush, and it's transferred over. I sent that over as well. That shows that the contract was transferred over.
Okay, and I see that, and it says, but I don't have any signatures for this. It's an invoice. This is not a contract, what you sent to me. Okay, I've got it right here. I've looked at it, I've read it. And so what I don't have is this agreement between Al Bush and yourself saying, hey, I'm transferring this to you. You are now in control, and you're dealing directly with Mr. Hisham. I have just the opposite. I've got it fully executed between both parties, but yours that you have submitted does not contain your signature whatsoever. And so there's a serious doubt in the court's mind with respect to who has standing to bring this cause of action. Before we get into any of the other stuff that is obviously intricacies with this case, and obviously the most important is a very expensive ATM machine. I get it, I understand it, but I'm just real hesitant at this point. Do you have any other information, Mrs. Clark, that really will put me at ease that to present to the court that you are in fact owner operator, legitimate business individual that does business with these machines?
The only way that I can show you that is my machine is that we would have to get Al Bush on the phone, or Al Bush would have to send the contract over.
Okay.
Before we have another document,
we are at trial today, and so I mean, all that should have been done beforehand. Therefore, it's an opinion of this court that this case is going to be dismissed for an improper party. I don't believe that we have the proper parties bringing this cause of action forward. Obviously, I know you probably disagree with me, Mrs. Clark, which is your right. You can either refile and get with Mr. Bush, seek legal counsel, or appeal this matter. Those are your rights moving forward, and there's a 21-day period to do that. All right, this case has been concluded. Judgment has been decided that this case be dismissed for improper party, and parties may be excused. Any final questions?
No, sir, thank you.
All right, Ms. Hasham, any questions?
Yes, sir. Can it be dismissed with prejudice, sir? I don't have the ability to go to Fort Worth, file things. I'm an old man, I'm retired, I've lost my things on this Al's store. And this is definitely, she is 6 months, the store I was being paying its rent for nothing. Just for those people to come and take
I
it.
mean, that's just, I understand your concern, and you can certainly have someone speak on your behalf, represent you if you have to go to court again in the future. But this is how this court is seeing this particular case. I can't advise you what you need to do in the future moving forward, okay?
Okay.
All right, very